To all the viewers and readers of DNA, a warm welcome to our interviews with heads of missions. Argentina, the land that gave us the passion of tango and the miracle that is Lionel Messi. Perhaps it's in the steaks that Argentinians consume more than anyone else, or in the mate drinks they share. To answer this question and more, we have with us today His Excellency Mauricio Nine, Ambassador of Argentina to Singapore. Che, Mauricio.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your Excellency, when was the Argentinian diplomatic mission first opened in Singapore? How would you describe the development of the bilateral relations between both nations?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Su. Very happy to be here with you and reaching out to the viewers and readers of DNA, and happy to be sharing this interview with you. Regarding your question, Argentina was the first Latin American country to recognize Singapore's independence back in 1965. And a few years after that, in 1974, that is 50 years back, we established bilateral relationships. So this year we're marking the 50th anniversary of the bilateral relationship, and very much looking forward to many activities that we have planned to continue building on all the achievements that we have had when working with Singapore. With Singapore, we share many views on important global issues. One of the main ones being the common view of the importance of having a multilateral system which is based on rules, where the principles of international law are respected, the principles of the UN Charter are respected, and where every country has the right to have its independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity respected as well. So there are many things we have achieved so far, and there's much more that we can build on top of that. For the last couple of decades, Argentina's foreign policy has been paying increasingly more attention to Asia in general. And within Asia, of course, the region of Southeast Asia being one of the most dynamic and fast-growing regions of the world, Singapore appears as one of the stars of that region. So that's why we're very happy to have reopened our embassy in 2017 after a short closure that we have for mostly administrative reasons, and very much motivated to continue building on the relationship that we have.
Well, just to let you know, 50 years, that's exactly how long I've been alive.
Me too.
Oh, we're the same
51.
age. Yeah, about the same. Singapore is known to be one of the strongest economies in the region and a historically vital international business hub. Kindly highlight the main accomplishments within the arenas of foreign investment and trade between Singapore and Argentina.
Exactly. We are very much aware of the role that Singapore has to play in the region and in the world, and that's why, as I was saying before, we are very happy to have an active and very dynamic embassy here in this country. We view Singapore as a launch pad for the penetration of the markets of the Asian economies, with these economies being one of the most thriving and fast-growing economies in the world. We see Singapore as a hub not just for finance, but also for business, education, technology, and innovation. We see Singapore as a place where many of the new ways of doing business are being shaped because of the way that in this city converge human talent, financial resources, and the openness of the market of Singapore to other countries in the region. Last year, our bilateral trade grew up to $900 million. And that includes, of course, you mentioned the beef, of course, which is one of our most iconic products, and we're very proud of it. But we also have many more protein, either animal or non-animal protein to share with Singapore, which are produced in our country. And we also have lots of opportunities in the knowledge-based economy. Argentina is a country that offers many opportunities for investment in many areas, including mining, energy, traditional or renewable energies, production of protein, and also, as I mentioned before, knowledge-based economy. So we are very excited about all the opportunities that are offered by the bilateral relationship in this very challenging moment, where for many global tensions, we see that the supply chains are being challenged, and we want to be perceived by Singapore and the neighboring countries as a trustworthy partner. You can count on us as a supplier of the products that you need.
Well, I hope we have the opportunity to share a steak together soon. As the head of the Argentinian mission in Singapore, His Excellency has, amongst others, the responsibility to promote your country as a travel destination. What places in your country could offer a Singaporean wishing to visit some insight into the heart and soul of your country?
Well, there are many. Argentina, as you may know, is the eighth biggest country in territory of the world, and it stretches very, very wide and tall from north to south and from east to west. So we have a big diversity of natural landscapes and also of human fabric that we can share with any Singaporean visiting our country. If I start from the northwest, for example, I would mention as a highlight the Quebrada de Humahuaca, which has been declared as a UNESCO heritage site. It's a valley stretching around 145 kilometers from north to south, where you can see all the beautiful mountains with different colors, and also the presence and the culture of originary peoples there, the Quichua mainly, which we're very proud of. In the northeast, you can find the very famous Iguazu Falls, which are the biggest, the widest waterfalls, natural waterfalls in the world, in a very interesting spot where Argentina meets Paraguay, meets Brazil. It's a tri-border area, which is a very iconic natural monument to the friendship of the three countries. So that's very nice to visit too. A bit further south, you can go to the Ibera wetlands, in the province of Corrientes, where you can see some natural wildlife examples like the jacare, which is like a small crocodile, or the carpincho, known as capybara. It's a very big rodent. So that's a beautiful place as well. Then, of course, Buenos Aires city, the capital of the city, which is a very vibrant city with lots of architecture, culture, gastronomy. You mentioned tango, you mentioned football. That's where the whole passion brews in the city of Buenos Aires for both tango, our biggest national musical expression, and also all the passion for football. That's where you find the biggest stadiums, and anybody visiting Buenos Aires should make a point of trying to visit and hopefully go to see one of the big derbies, Boca River or any other big match. Then the Patagonia, going further south, has many beauties also to visit, both on the Atlantic side of the Patagonia, the coast, or in the Andes, in the mountains on the west, or in the further south, in the end of what we call the end of the world, because that's where Ushuaia, the southernmost city of the world, is, where you can take cruises going to the Antarctica and see the white continent. But then you also have on the Atlantic coast, you have, which is also a UNESCO heritage site, Peninsula Valdez or Valdez Peninsula, where you can appreciate lots of wildlife, sea wildlife species from Argentina. And on the mountains that we share with Chile, the mountains the longest mountain range in the world from north to south, coming all the way from Venezuela to Argentina and Chile in the south. We have circuits for lakes and forests and mountains and glaciers. And the last suggestion for any visitor to Argentina would be to go to Mendoza, where you can go to the wine circuits and get to know our very famous Malbec wine.
Wow. I think Mauricio is making us all want to go to Argentina right now. For Singaporeans wishing to engage commercially with your country, is there a Chamber of Commerce or Trade Office that one can contact? Please also mention other platforms where one could find information related to doing business and trade with Argentina.
Well, that's a very good question, because the two economies are very complementary, and also the business communities are very complementary. If anybody wants to engage in further trade with Argentina, I think that the best platforms would be the Latin American group of the Singapore Business Federation. We are very happy that the Singapore Business Federation has set up a Latin American business group where everybody willing to engage in bilateral trade with Latin American countries, including, of course, Argentina and Singapore, can find many references, lots of information on business opportunities, lots of information about the demand and offer, and also investment opportunities. We also are very happy to have here in Singapore the Latin American Chamber of Commerce for Singapore, which has been going on for many years, and we collaborate with them also all the time. They are a big support when we receive trade missions, or when we are trying to explore investment opportunities for the business community in Singapore, the investors in Singapore, in Argentina. So those two are very good ways to start exploring the opportunities further.
Nice. Excellency, Singapore is considered an eating paradise. Which are your favorite local dishes, and how is our cuisine compared with the Argentinian one? Where in Singapore would one go to taste great Argentinian food? I love a great steak.
Yes, I agree. Singapore is a very important and very exciting hub for gastronomy. And I think that has to do with the many influences that a very global country like Singapore has. I don't think there's any kind of cuisine you cannot find in Singapore from the world. So I personally have visited many places, ranging from the traditional hawkers that you're so proud, rightly proud of. It's a very nice cultural manifestation of the way people eat and share food and time together, to very nice restaurants that you have here, with Singapore being a capital for the MICE industry, for the meetings and congress and hotels. So the cuisine is quite different. The Argentine cuisine is a bit simpler, not in the bad way, but in a way that is more like perhaps a more basic. And again, basic is not a bad word for cuisine in Argentina. You know about our barbecue, asado. That's one of the biggest components of the Argentine gastronomy landscape. That is the eating experience where Argentine families and friends share around the fire, while the best beef of the world, of course, Argentine beef, is cooked. And so that's the biggest highlight of the Argentine cuisine. But we have a lot more. We like to say that Argentine's gastronomy has been evolving over the year, adding sophistication, incorporating new ingredients. So even though beef is, of course, the most famous, and we're very proud of it, there are many new gastronomic experiences to explore in Argentina. And the wine, of course, is always the star to combine with the nice food. The wine from not just Mendoza, but from many provinces of Argentina. We are developing many different grapes for red wine and white wine and sparkling. So I invite you to explore more about the very diverse palette of Argentine wines. For the Singapore food, I have been exploring also. I can name a dessert. I'll start the wrong way around. I'll start with the dessert. I've enjoyed particularly the chendol in many hawker centers. In Bukit Merah, I remember a specific place in Bukit Merah where I had a very nice chendol. So I like the flavor. When you go for sweet options, you go a bit more moderate than the Argentine very sweet tooth. So I like to enjoy sweet desserts which are not overly sweet like in my country, so that I like. And chendol is a good example for that, and it's very colorful and it combines textures and colors, so I like it. It's a very happy dessert, I would say. And then for hot dishes, I like laksa. I like this broth that is laksa with the noodles. And again, I've tried it in nice restaurants, but I feel that the more authentic experience is eating it like a street food in traditional hawkers. So yeah, that's my experience with gastronomy so far. But very happy to be here and be able to taste so many flavors.
I can tell you love your food.
Yes.
Singapore,
I forgot about the recommendations for
Argentinian restaurants.
Yes, Argentina. There are a couple. I will give their names. One is called Fire. It's on the Iron Tower, on the Orchard shopping belt. And the other very nice one is on Club Street. It's called Pochinche. I go regularly to both of them.
My friend owns that restaurant.
Okay.
I let you know you're going, and I make sure he takes care of you. Now, Mauricio, in early 2023, Diplomatic Network Asia launched its digital media platform, organized a slew of networking events, and now published its annual print edition. How can media and networking contribute to the work carried out by your mission? And do you have any suggestions for us moving forward?
I think that media platforms and networks like DNA are a natural partner for the work that the embassies do day to day. When it comes to networking, to identifying opportunities, to trying to match the offer with the supply, and identifying opportunities for investment as well, not just for trade, I find that these kind of networks are very useful. There are lots of synergies to explore between these platforms and the work that the commercial sections of all our embassies carry out daily. So my advice would be to push them, or I don't want to push anybody. I'm just saying motivate them to continue working further with the embassies. And we are open to collaborating with these kind of platforms because we need them. We know small embassies like Latin American embassies in Singapore, like Argentine embassy in Singapore. We have a small team, and we benefit a lot from the synergies with platforms like this. So we're open to share information about the opportunities with these kind of platforms and other ones as well.
One more last question, and it's for me really, because I was a supporter of the Argentina national team at the World Cup. Yeah,
Thank you.
I love Messi. Do you remember where you were the day Argentina won the World Cup, and what was the atmosphere like around you and within you?
Wow, it was a beautiful experience, of course, for all Argentines. In my case, I was watching the match with my family and with Singaporean friends, and also some other friends from different countries, in the open terrace of the Singapore Cricket Club, because they very kindly organized a table for us with a TV and everything. And we were hopeful that we will win, so we wanted to be near the Merlion, which is where we went next, about 3 or 4 p.m., I can't remember, to celebrate and sing with a little crowd, but very excited crowd that we were there. And it was an amazing experience. Thank you for your support for our country. I think that many Singaporeans were supporting us as well, and people from other countries as well, from this part of the world particularly. I would mention India, Bangladesh, Pakistan as places where in Asia where we found that lots of support was being channeled to our team. Messi, of course, is a great leader, as Maradona was in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s as well. And yes, I mean, football is a very strong, powerful, and representative manifestation of Argentine culture. When it comes to talking about planning, effort, teamwork, commitment, creativity, all those virtues that emerge so clearly in a winning formula for winning the World Cup are very much deep in the Argentine society and individuals, and it can't be any other way. That's where it comes from. That's where it all comes from. So it comes from the kind of people that we have, the human resources that we have, who are trained, passionate, and motivated, and who eat beef and drink mate, which you mentioned, which is our fuel, our daily fuel, mate.
That's what it takes to win.
Yeah, of course.
Gracias, Mauricio.
De nada. Thank you, Mr. Su. Thank you.